Okay, this is Mark L. White with Health Hacks, and we are here with Dr. Ramesh Kumar. Now, Dr. Kumar is a board-certified physician and oncologist, a Harvard medical-trained acupuncturist, and president of LifeWell MD Wellness Centers in Palm Beach Gardens. You've worked with over 8,000 patients over the past 22 years in Florida, and you're always looking for new ways to help patients live longer, happier, and productive. And you've worked everywhere from Florida to Silicon Valley to Harvard Medical School, and you've been all around the world from London to Shanghai. Over the years, you've discovered much larger positive impacts on patients can be created by adopting the best methodologies from East and West and all the technological breakthroughs. So we want to just go ahead and get started. So how did you get into this, and what have you learned?
So Mark, it all started when I sold some of my cancer centers in 2014 and kind of wondering what to do with my life, until I got an email from Harvard Medical School saying, hey, we're starting a course in medical acupuncture. Do you want to come in? And obviously, you think it's junk and you just throw it away, delete, gone. A couple of weeks later, I got the same email again. I said, there's something to this. And so I asked my wife, I'm 55. What do I do? Do I go back to medical school at the age of 55, or do I just call it quits and go hang around the Bahamas, sit on the beach and drink tequila all day long?
That sounds like fun, actually.
Not really, not the way people know me. So that's when I decided to go to attend this course in medical acupuncture. And Mark, that changed my life. And I tell you how. In addition to my training at Harvard Medical School, in 2017, me and my wife were moving a heavy piece of furniture in our garage. It was July of 2017, and my hand slipped, and this heavy piece of machine or furniture fell on my foot and shattered my first metatarsal in 3 places.
Ouch.
And here I was, somebody who was running around 200 miles a day for the past 25 years, and basically I'm immobilized. I had a cast, and so I go to the orthopedic surgeon, and what does he tell me? Oh, you need surgery, you need pain medicines, here's Percocet, here's this, that, and other. I said, no, man, I'm good as far as pain is concerned. I put a needle in my ear, and that's it. That's basic acupuncture. And that's it. Never took a single pain medicine for it. Okay, I was in this boot. But then I started, now I had time on my hands, right? What can I do? I can't run around. So I would go to the office, come back home. And it was so fortunate that I got this book called The Body Electric that has been sitting on my shelf for so many years. This book was written by Robert Becker back in 1987. So I said, you know what? I'm going to start reading this book. Oh, my God. You talk about regenerative medicine at the present day. This guy knew what was going to happen way back in 1987. And so when I started investigating this, I found myself going to this place in Fort Lauderdale, in your neck of the woods, for what's called photobiomodulation. Whole body biomodulation.
Photobiomodulation.
Biomodulation. Okay, and what that is using low-level laser therapy to enhance wound healing, whether it's fractures or open wounds or whatever. So I was driving down 3 days a week, down to Fort Lauderdale, 15 minutes on that machine. And by the way, I have that machine right here, and I'll show it to you in a few minutes.
Awesome.
You may want to go ahead and turn it on. And so it just took me on that journey about how there are so many things apart from traditional medicine that can have such a huge impact on our body. And guess what? My wound healed within 6 weeks when the orthopedic surgeon told me it would take anywhere from 12 to 14 weeks to heal.
Wow.
And I got rid of my, because you know why? Because I want to get back to moving around.
So
100 to 200 miles a day.
So let me understand this. The treatment's using low laser light therapy. So it's something that has been around. This guy wrote this book in 1987. Is this Eastern medicine? Is this Western medicine? Like, why doesn't anybody know about this?
No, there are some people who do know about this, right? Say, for example, this is more in the wellness arena.
Mm-hmm.
And so the knowledge of all this actually comes from Harvard Medical School and MIT. there's a couple of doctors out there who have done so much of research in this area. One key person that everybody needs to follow is Dr. Hamblin, Hamblin. Go look at his work, Blin.
Okay.
Right? On photobiomodulation, on PubMed, there's tons of information that's out there on how low-level laser therapy helps in health and wellness. The second person that really has inspired me to go in this direction is a doc called Dr. Margaret Naser, Naeser, and she's out of Boston Medical School. These two folks have really changed how we look at low-level laser therapy in health and wellness. So what's the basis of this? The basis of this is when we have any kind of an injury to our body, inflammation, whatever, one of the components of energy is what's called ATP.
APP, right?
ATP. We all know that. We study it in medical school, and it's part of what is produced when we eat our food, drink our water, right? And then the food gets digested, and it produces this molecule called ATP that is one of the currencies of energy. And that ATP can make the muscle move, can make the heart beat, can have the nerves to function, can have the brain to function. So when we have some kind of an issue, that ATP production gets blocked at the very last step of what's called cytochrome oxidase enzyme that's located in the mitochondria.
Okay, so let me break this down for people like myself who didn't go to medical school. We're talking about like at the cellular level, we need certain cells to create energy, right? Or certain, like, when you say ADP, what is ADP?
Okay, ATP. It's adenine triphosphate.
ATP, okay.
ATP. So when, let's say you burn, so let's say you have a car, right? You want to put fuel into it, correct? What's that fuel? Okay,
fuel makes your car go.
Right. So that fuel can be obtained from coal, from wood, from whatever, right? It all gets down to that thing called fuel that makes a car run, right? That fuel is the same thing as ATP in our body.
Okay.
Okay. Whether you eat fat or protein or carbohydrates, when it comes down to the breaking down of those chemicals into fuel, ATP is one of those components. You need that molecule to function.
Okay.
You need that molecule for life and for healing. And so when the production of ATP is disrupted for whatever reason, for illness and all kinds of issues, what will happen is you need to recharge that. And the way to get the ATP up and running is by exposing that cell to this low-level red light laser.
Okay, let me ask you a question. If I walk outside and it's sunny, and it hasn't been sunny these days, do I get ATP production from the sun?
No, it doesn't happen. Because that's a very small portion of, I'm going to be wearing something that sounds a little bit funny, but just stay with me on this.
Okay,
I'd like to see what this is.
So I see this thing on your head. It looks like kind of like a helmet. Now you're hooking something up to your nose, your nostrils.
Yeah.
So it looks like something out of Clockwork Orange here. Okay,
so one of the ways of releasing ATP with red light therapy is this little machine from a company called Vielight, Vielight, Vielight.com. So when I turn this on, do you see the red light flashing?
I'm looking. Yes, I see it. Let's see. Yes.
It's very faint because of the brightness. But anyway, what's going on here is the laser that's being produced is aimed towards certain parts of the brain that's allowing ATP to be released.
Okay.
So this is one of the ways of increasing brain health and wellness.
Okay, so let me try to break it down, see if I understand this. ATP, it's a molecule. When we eat food, the food eventually turns into ATP. That gives us the energy to go. However, low-level laser therapy also stimulates the production of ATP.
Exactly. You got it.
So does this mean I can stop eating? I mean...
No, you still need, because that is a source for ATP. So in the chain of this mechanism from food to ATP, there are several chemical changes that need to occur.
Okay.
Right? So the last step of that process before ATP is produced is what gets hurt in a disease state.
Okay. I'm following you.
So when the red light comes along, it stimulates that enzyme that encourages production of ATP that was blocked.
Okay.
Okay? So that's where when you get that energy, now that energy that was kind of stuck, not moving, kind of blocked, now is available for use.
Okay. And when you're talking about like Eastern medicine, and I was recently at a conference in San Diego, and I met a few doctors that come from the Eastern School of Medicine, which I think is amazing. They talk about energy sources and meridians, and is this what we're hitting on here? Is releasing energy sources and releasing blockages in the body?
So let's step back a little bit. What we are seeing right now is on the periphery of traditional medicine. Okay. So the periphery of traditional medicine. This is as modern or as futuristic as you can get as far as red light therapy is concerned. Got it?
Got it.
So the energy, so the reason I got involved, the common thread between acupuncture and this is energy. Okay. So our understanding of acupuncture is when you take that needle and stimulate your skin at certain acupuncture points, you're stimulating the crystalline structure of what we call the fascia that covers the muscles.
Okay.
That stimulation of the fibers creates what's called a piezoelectric effect.
Okay.
Okay, which means distortion of a crystalline structure triggers passage of an electric current.
Okay.
And in theory, that's how we explain how effective acupuncture is.
Okay, so now, acupuncture, go ahead.
This is just one of the ways of explaining of how acupuncture works. There are theories and theories and theories. None of them can be proven, but the key here is we get the results.
Let me ask you just a simple question. So people have been doing acupuncture literally for thousands of years, correct?
Yes.
And this machine's new, it's cutting edge. Are the results of acupuncture, if it's done by a good practitioner, and the results somebody would get from low-level laser therapy, is it the same? Is that what we're trying to accomplish?
You know what? That's an incredibly powerful question, and I'll tell you how I'm going to respond to it. It's a combination of the two. It's not one way or the other. What is unique about what I do is when I meld in the skills of these acupuncture points and these acupuncture methodology, and I add this, in other words, marrying the best of Eastern medicine from 2,500 years ago from what is coming out in the future, and you meld it. Not a lot of people can understand that.
Yeah.
You see? So it's not either or. Instead of just depending on traditional Western medicine or just depending on just this, but when you mix it with some of the other stuff that I do, which means including acupuncture and photobiomodulation, the results are not 1 + 1 = 2. The results are 1 + 1 = 11.
I love that. I'm trying to figure out the math. You just put up 1 and 1, and you got 11 there.
Yeah, exactly. It's not 2.
So let me ask you. Okay, I'm looking at this device. It's on your health. It's on your head, and then you have the laser in your nostril. Is that correct?
Yes. So the laser within the nostril is shining this laser light into the base of the brain.
Okay.
It's going through the base of the skull to that area and washing the blood. It's basically an effect on the blood and the nervous cells.
Okay. When you have that on, what does it feel like? Do you feel?
It's 20 minutes. You don't feel anything. That's it. What I tell people is, 20 minutes a day for wellness. But let me add another thing. So there is another similar device. It's the same thing, but there the laser light goes in at a frequency of what's called 40 hertz.
Okay.
Okay. At that level, the experiments are still ongoing on how that can clear up Alzheimer's disease.
Okay. Let me ask you this. I see people now, and this has been around now, I guess, for about 15 years. They wear helmets on their head to regrow hair. Is that the same?
It's the same principle, but that light will go through only a few millimeters of skin.
Okay.
It's not lasers, it's actually LED lights. At that level, so there's a difference between just regular light and laser. Right? Laser can penetrate.
Okay.
Whereas light can just hit the surface. That's it.
Okay, so when you put the light in your nostril, that's not laser, is it?
That is laser.
That is laser.
It's penetrating deep inside. You turn on the machine.
Let me ask you this. Like, I talked to another doctor who believes that low-level laser light can be used on the penis to optimize erection quality.
I'm going to show you something right now.
Oh, please.
You ready for this?
No, I'm not sure I want to see it.
No, not that.
Yeah, okay.
Turn this. Oh, okay. I'm going to show you. Okay, go ahead, open that door and turn the lights on. I'm going to show them. Mark, this is what is called our photobiomodulation machine. Turn the lights on.
Okay, so you're walking into, it looks like a treatment room, and there's a giant machine we're looking at.
You see that? It's what's called a Novator machine.
It looks like a tanning bed.
That's what everybody tells me, but this is what this is.
Okay, so how does this work? It does the laser all over the body.
It's the same principle. So the key here is to have this all, expose as much skin as possible. And this is the machine that helped me heal down in Fort Lauderdale.
Okay, is this completely different than an infrared sauna?
Oh, we're going to talk about that in a second. That's what's called far infrared. That's a whole different ballgame. We're going to talk about that in a second. But this is near infrared light.
Okay, so it's not infrared, it's close to infrared. What does it do?
No. It is infrared, but what's called near infrared.
Okay, so what's the difference?
It's based on the wavelength.
Okay. So if you sit in that, what does it do? What does it feel like? And does it just heal everything in your body? Like, why would somebody want this?
Okay. So all I want people to do is go check out a YouTube video on Novator and Olympic athletes.
Okay.
It's about a 5-minute video that will tell people on how this stuff works, optimizing wellness. So suppose somebody has fibromyalgia. 10 minutes on that will clear it up.
Okay. So that's
because of energy production.
So people are doing everything for fibromyalgia. And you're telling me that 10 minutes on that machine will just clear it up.
Clear it up. But the key here is the underlying problem is not solved. So they may need to come in maybe twice a week, maybe once a week, as long as the symptoms are ongoing, which means the need for pain medicines will start going down.
Which is probably no good for traditional Western medicine because we love putting people on pain meds.
Absolutely. That is the point. You see, how can we... So listen, Mark, over the past 2.5 years, I've not prescribed a single narcotic pain medications on any of my patients. And I'm an oncologist. Half my day is spent taking care of oncology patients. So I provide them these kind of services, acupuncture in the ear, getting rid of their pain, red light laser therapy, getting rid of their pain. And I've not prescribed a single narcotic pain medicine in 2.5 years.
As an oncologist, do you use this on cancer patients?
Yes. No, but you got to be a little bit careful on cancer patients. So here I'm going to show you this light in action.
Well, now that's quite bright. So when a person lies in that, are they completely naked?
Yes. as much as possible. You know, people wear the underwear and stuff like that. It doesn't matter.
I was going to say, I hope you clean the machine between sessions, but.
No, absolutely. No, the thing is this. This doesn't heat up the body. So after every session, the whole thing is sterilized because people are obviously, you know, have their skin exposed to the whole thing. So we have all the system in there. So when we do, whether it's a gaze wave treatment or whatever, I put them on this machine, get their ATP energy running first, and then do whatever procedure that I can. And it really magnifies. Again, what are the results?
1 + 1 = 11. I got the math. Is there a way to measure ATP in the body?
No. It's mainly subjective. It's mainly subjective. Okay. So before we finish up, I know we don't have a whole lot of time. I'm going to show you something here. You're talking about infrared saunas, right? I'm going to take off my jacket. Mark, do you have any idea what this fabric is?
I can guess. Is it cotton?
What is it? No. So I want people to understand this whole concept of what's called bioceramics.
Okay.
Okay. So bioceramics has this property where it absorbs heat and converts it into far infrared heat. Okay, which is what you were talking about, your infrared sauna.
Okay, so...
Okay, that is what is called far infrared heat.
Okay.
Right? So instead of going to a sauna, this fabric is impregnated with bioceramics, and what it does is it takes your body heat, converts it into far infrared heat, and pushes it back into your muscles. There's blood vessel dilatation and increase in nitric oxide production throughout the body.
Okay, which is, we know nitric oxide production results in better blood flow.
It's important.
Super important.
Hey, super important for Viagra and Cialis to work, right? Without nitric oxide, you're done.
Yeah, nothing works without it. We know that. That's the
and
key
guess
to
what?
great blood flow.
This fabric does it 24/7. All you have to do is just wear it. So any kind of pain issues, you're going to be self-healing.
Wow. Do you sweat in that thing? It looks like it's...
No, you don't. No, you don't. Because the thing is this, with far infrared heat, the intermediate tissue doesn't take any heat at all. It gets deposited deep inside.
Wow.
So Dr. Hamlin, again, my mentor, I've never met the guy, but I follow him so easily, and he's been so helpful for me to understand what's happening in this area. He's actually measured blood oxygen levels deep inside the muscle with this kind of fabric on the surface and different kinds of fabric on the surface. And what he found is a massive increase in oxygen levels inside the muscle. So your endurance increases. Your ability to focus increases. I mean, you will feel a difference.
Okay, so somebody...
whether you're working out or whatever.
Somebody's got brain fog. So what we're talking about here is treatments for mental acuity. Does it help you with body composition?
Absolutely. So there's a study that is actually out in PubMed. I was sharing with one of my folks out here. So what do the Brazilians care about? The Brazilians care about looking good, right? So
everybody,
they had about 40...
everybody cares about looking good.
My wife is laughing back then.
You don't have to be Brazilian to want to look good.
Hey, but they have a special place for all that. But anyway, so they did a study where they took 44 women and they used this fabric. This was the only variable, okay, that they had to wear for 8 weeks, and another group of women with absolutely, some other fabric not impregnated with bioceramics. And they found that their circumference around the waist reduced remarkably.
Wow. And
there's an actual published study on PubMed based on this far infrared fabric. So yes, if people want to feel good, if you want to lose weight, if you want to look pretty, whatever, get rid of your pains, forget about medications. Wear this shirt. Simple. And by the way, I don't get anything out of this. But I just like the science behind it. And there are just a few companies who are manufacturing this. So people can go find whatever.
It's amazing.
Or if they need...
I was going to say, it's amazing. There's this whole other paradigm of healing your body that people just don't even know about. I know one of the things that we were talking about when you were down here is NAD.
Yep. Okay, so remember we talked about the currency of energy, right?
Yes.
Okay,
ATP.
ATP is one. The other one is NAD. And
Okay.
NAD stands for nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide.
Okay,
NAD.
I'm going to stick with NAD because I'll botch that.
Okay.
So
All right, no worries. So this is another currency of energy, which is super high when we are born, but as we age, it declines very dramatically. Okay, so when the NAD level goes away, you're basically calling it a day. You're done, right? So when you look at these kids, they're running around. What do we tell people? Hey, they have so much of energy. Really? That's NAD.
So what you're saying is that when we see kids running around, it's not that they're young, it's that they're just full of NAD.
Exactly. That's the point. And as we get older, what do we say? Oh, we are tired. We have no energy. That's what that is. We don't have NAD.
Well, does NAD, is it produced naturally in our bodies? Like, where do we get NAD from?
It is occurring naturally in our body, but nature has created it in such a way that, God has created it in such a way that we don't live forever. So he's turned on this mechanism where the production of NAD goes down. He did that on purpose.
Are you able to measure? Are we able to measure NAD?
Not yet, but that science is coming in just the next couple of months, where we will be able to produce or detect NAD. But the key here is this: we don't have to wait for it, Mark, because we have so much of evidence and data. By taking NAD into our bloodstream directly, it helps us in so many ways. Because basically, I give the story of this, right? So let's say when you're born, right, you don't come out with an instruction manual, right? So let's say a Ferrari gets out of the showroom, right, without an extension, without an owner's manual. And you drive it around for about 5 days, and then it stops, right? So then, because you don't know what to do, you take it to the mechanic, and he'll keep the tires and say, oh, the tire pressure is low, or the electrical system is gone, or whatever, right? Or let's put some paint on it. But still not moving. So what's lacking?
Gasoline.
It's the fuel. Yeah, gasoline. Right? That's how our bodies are. So the moment you put the gasoline into the Ferrari, now you're off and running. So NAD is rocket fuel for our body.
Okay.
So the moment you replenish that, your energy level goes high. Your brain fog clears up. It's also part of what's called the anti-aging or age reversal protocol.
Okay, is that I've seen it with IV therapy. I've also seen nasal spray. Is all NAD created equally?
No, the thing is this. So the most direct way of putting NAD into your body and saturating it is through IV. And it takes about 4 to 8 hours of infusion. And you do it multiple times. Once you've saturated the fuel tank, then you can use your nasal sprays, your skin creams, your oral pills, to kind of keep it at a decent level, because most of those things get destroyed on its way into the blood. So the most effective way of starting NAD therapy is through the IV.
Okay, do you do that?
You've got to saturate the tank.
Do you do that up in West Palm Beach?
Oh yeah, we do that in Palm Beach, in Port St. Lucie, and
wow,
it's easy. But the thing is this: it has to be monitored, because it does come in with some side effect that needs monitoring. And there are different protocols for different situations. Mark, one of the things that really fascinates me about NAD is its ability to stop addiction in its tracks.
Really?
Okay? Whether it's cocaine addiction, alcohol, obesity, food addiction, it doesn't matter. Once you saturate the body with NAD, your cravings will stop. And there are so many studies, and this all comes in from Dr. Mestayer, Mestayer. He's based out of Louisiana. He's a pioneer in this area. And I've gone to his clinic. In fact, I had an NAD IV through him. And it was a first-hand experience. Mark, the first day I went in, this kid who had shot heroin into his arm at 7 o'clock that morning walks into the clinic at 8 o'clock in the morning, brought in by his mom, completely shattered. Can barely move. We start the NAD IV on him, and Dr. Mestayer told me, just watch what happens to him at 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock, this kid is sleeping like a baby.
Wow.
So it comes in the next day. I was a brand new person. I could not recognize him. It is amazing. And it's time and time again. Again, this is the solution for addiction. Not your Suboxone, not your whatever. Yeah, we need all of that. But without this basic fuel inside the body, everything else is a Band-Aid. You're putting lipstick on a pig. You're putting paint on a Ferrari. You got to put the fuel in before you put the paint on.
Yeah, if your car has no gas in it, it doesn't matter if the oil, doesn't matter what the outside looks like.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you, people are listening to this. How can people find you? Like if they want to know more, what do they do?
Oh, call me at 561-210-9999 or look at my website, lifewellmd.com. There's a whole bunch of information out there. And Mark, for most of the people, I tell them, just come in and talk to me. You have an issue, come and talk to me. I'll put on my MD hat first, and we'll do it for free, my first session, because I'm trying to explore. I'll put on my MD hat first. I'll make sure that we're not missing something major, right? Some major medical issue. We'll make sure that we take care of all that first, get you back to your doctor, optimize all that, and whatever is left over and that you're not happy with, that's where I jump in.
That's awesome. So what we have is a traditional MD, not a naturopath, but an MD who's embraced Eastern medicine, looked at other paradigms, and are finding things that could possibly end addiction, make you feel decades younger. It's amazing. So I'm so happy you're on the show. I mean, this is awesome, and hopefully we can get more and more people knowing about this stuff.
I tell you what, Mark, anybody with a pulse will need everything that we just talked about. It's just not for, special patients, whether it's addiction or whatever. If somebody has a pulse and they want to live happily, longer and healthier, you need this stuff. I don't care where you go to find it. Just go find it.
Okay, did you hear that? So if you're listening to this and you have a pulse, you gotta reach out and speak to Dr. Kumar, who's going to listen and figure out how to get you feeling young and healthy. Thank you so much for your time, Doctor. It's been great.
Thank you so much, Mark. Thank you.